Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so glad that you're here. So let's begin. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Boundaries and Personal Leadership Policies live stream. I'm super excited to be here today. I'm super excited to share this with you. All the things that I've learned in terms of my own boundaries and personal leadership policies, and they work together. They're a little bit different and they're a little bit the same. So we'll be going through that and talking about that as we go through this masterclass. So get yourself your paper and your pen, or if you would like to, you can open up the workbook and we can go use it through that way, whatever you'd like. It's totally up to you. And then make sure that you have something to drink, and we will start the experience. Feeling a little warm. It's been a weird day here weather-wise. It was rainy and kind of a little chilly, and then now I think because I'm talking, it's a little bit warmer. All right, so let's get started. I think there'll be people who catch the video of this, so that'll be really good. And I'm really excited for this live process. So we're gonna start first. I'd like for you just to take a moment and shake your body up. Just kind of shake your body around. Take a deep breath. Let it out. Kind of get yourself situated to the room. Get yourself situated to where you are right now. And then I'm going to walk you through a meditation to start this process. So make sure that you are in a comfortable place where you can close your eyes. If you feel like laying down, feel free to lay down. If not, then you can sit. Yay. Sarah, I'm so glad that you're here. It's going to be so great. It's going to be so much fun. So get yourself comfortable, and I'm going to do that. Okay. So feel free to close your eyes. My email keeps popping open. We don't need that. We don't need my email. So with your eyes open, take in one deep breath through your nose. Let the air fill your lungs all the way down to your belly, and then release it through your mouth. So let's do that 2 or 3 times. Just take in a deep breath in through your nose, fill your lungs, and release through your mouth. And one more. Now close your eyes and place your hands on your lap or next to you, facing down. Taking a deep breath again, filling your lungs and into your belly. And slowly let your breath out through your mouth. Taking one more deep breath, filling your lungs and into your belly, and let it out your mouth. Allow yourself to fully focus on the moment right now. If a thought pops up in your mind, be the observer and allow it to float away like a cloud. Allow for yourself to not get caught up in the thoughts or the worries or your day right now. Simply with a breath, let your thoughts go as they come in. Now scan your body for any tension, tightness, or pain. If you notice anything amiss in your body, imagine a bright, warm, golden light covering that body part and releasing that tension or pain. Send warm, healing thoughts to that body part. Breathe in and then slowly let your breath out. Take an inventory of how you're feeling right now. Are you feeling relaxed and content, or anxious and wound up? Don't run away with the story. Just take note of your current emotional state. Wherever your emotions may lie right now, allow yourself to come back to peaceful homeostasis by taking in 3 deep and cleansing breaths. Imagine now a bright light slowly forming at your heart. Pick what color it might be. Does it have glitter or sparkle to it? As it's coming around your heart, what color is that? This could be your favorite color. It could be a color that represents light to you. Just imagine that color surrounding your heart. Imagine that this light starts as a small marble and slowly grows into the size of a ball. And then it grows larger and larger until the entire light coming from your heart surrounds you. It creates a huge bubble completely around you. This bubble keeps you safe and away from any energy you don't want to be given. It also allows you to not have any energy taken from you as well. This bubble keeps a thin imaginary wall between you and anyone you don't want to let into your bubble. It allows you to maintain your vibe without having other people impact it. While the walls of your bubble are thin and crystal clear, they are strong as steel. The walls are only fluid when you want someone you trust to join you. As you are in this bubble, start to count your breaths in and out. Your breath in is 1. Your breath out is 2. We're going to count to 10 as you focus on your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Imagine now that your bubble can go with you anywhere, keeping a small barrier between you and anyone you feel encroaches on your energy. When someone comes too close to your bubble, it naturally deflects their energy back to them, and you are safe, grounded, and untouched. You are safe and loved, and you are ready to face the world. Breathe in and breathe out. Wiggle your toes and your fingers and slowly bring your body back to the world, bringing your bubble with you. You can come back to your bubble anytime you need it, anytime you're having difficulties with coworkers, friends, family, or even if you're going to a large event with a lot of people. Use this bubble and this concept whenever you like. And you can open your eyes. Namaste. How are you feeling? I'm already feeling grounded. Feels so good. Okay, so I have a lot planned for us for this evening, and we might go till 8 o'clock my time. We might not, but that's our cutoff time. It's 8 p.m. I told my boys they've been very motivated by money. So, before we begin, I'd like to just ask and see if there's anything that is coming up when you think of the words boundaries and personal leadership policies. Pop in the comments any thoughts that come up for you around those words. Thank you, Sarah. Me too. I needed it too. I need that like 20 times a day. So as I'm talking, I'm going to explain a little bit about boundaries and personal leadership policies. And if there's anything pops up in the comment box, I'll talk about that. So your boundaries and your personal leadership policies are the biggest things that impact you as a person and impact you as a leader. When you're grounded in what works for you, everything else flows from there. Your boundaries are the actions and the energetic frequencies that support your policies. So your boundaries are like that imaginary bubble, or your boundaries are an imaginary wall between you and something else that allows you to be protected. And it allows you to keep your policies protected. And the thing about boundaries and policies is that they change. They change over time. They aren't always set in stone. They're not always rigid. Your boundaries and personal policies are fluid and will require you to come back to them and examine them often. So this masterclass and the workbook connected to it is designed for you to come back to and use again and again and again. Whenever you're feeling out of sorts, you can come back to this experience, do the workbook, and allow yourself to change your boundaries and your policies. When things are popping up that feel really out of sorts and uncomfortable, you can come back to this over and over again. And you can allow yourself to change them anytime you want to make them work for you. The policies are the overarching rules to guide your boundaries. So it'll make more sense as we're going through them. So in the comment box, Sarah, I definitely need boundaries and personal leadership policies for my business, especially around my primary 9 to 5 and while working from home. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. So we'll be talking about that, and we can dive into that a lot more deeply, and feel free to ask questions in the comment section whenever you need to. If there's something where you're like, could you clarify, or if there's something that you want me to expand on, please let me know. Because I think that is really important. Working from home lends itself to some nice, wonderful luxuries, but by the same token, makes things really challenging in terms of having boundaries and personal leadership policies. So part 1 is all about your boundaries. And so I want to go through some questions for you, and I'd like for you to answer these. I'd like for you to take a little bit of time and answer these, and feel free to pop them in the comment box if you'd like, because I'd love to hear your answers. So these are the first few questions that I've got for you. So the first one is, what currently in your life is just not working? What feels out of sorts? What's too much? What's overwhelming? So first, write down your answers to that. What is just not working? And then connected to that, write about the things that feel like they're just too much. It's just too much. It's just not, it's just not, doesn't feel right. It's out of sorts. It's overwhelming. And then the next question is, what are you ready to change? So something that I really had to work on changing was a lot of things. My relationship with social media has been the real big boundary thing lately. And I've been really working on creating boundaries around social media, my access to it, my time on it, my scrolling, all of that. That felt out of sorts, too much, overwhelming. I love social media. I talk about that a lot. I love Instagram. I could spend all day on Instagram, and I have before. And I use it in quotations for my business. But the problem is that I'm scrolling for not for my business. I don't know what I'm scrolling for. So when you're thinking about it, what are you ready to change? What do you wish you had more of? Do you wish you had more time? Do you wish you had more energy? Do you wish you had more peace? Do you wish you had more sleep? What are you wishing for? And then the next question, because I always feel like it's always a good idea to talk about what's working well, is what's working well for you currently. So take a minute and answer those questions, and then we'll move on to the next thing. And feel free, if you want to pop anything into the comment box and talk about it, we will. There's always a delay in the comments, so I never know if somebody's writing or not. And so I'll just keep going. If something pops up, we'll go back always. So currently what we're doing is we're kind of sussing out what is not working in your life, what we really want to focus on in terms of your boundaries and your personal leadership policies. That's what we're focusing on right now. And you can always come back to the workbook and answer these more deeply too. Just know that you can come back. If I'm moving a little quickly for you, just know that you can come back to these whenever you want to. So then the next question is, if you were running your life and the work you do in a way that felt really, really, really good, what would you immediately change? What would you immediately change? If you were running your life and you're doing your work that felt really, really good, what would you immediately change? Good, Sarah. I'm glad you're keeping up with me. I know it's kind of like you gotta furiously write, right, to get it all down. Oh my goodness. And then the next question is, what do you think would help you create more time, more flow, and more ease in your life? So, if going to that, if you're running your life and the work you do in a way that felt really, really good, think about and what would you immediately change? So for me, I would immediately change how I access social media. I would set boundaries on my phone. I would only get on the platforms with the intention, whatever intention I had. If the intention is to scroll, that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with scrolling. But if that's my intention, I'll set myself a timer for 15 minutes. And then the time doesn't feel like it's gotten away from me, and I haven't spent an hour bouncing from Instagram to Facebook to Pinterest to the news and then all the way back, you know? So, other ideas, what would you immediately change? Something that I had to really immediately change was my evening routine and getting ready for bed. Sleep is a high priority for me. So, what did I need to put in place in terms of boundaries and policies that would support my sleep? And what I would immediately change is that I would focus on what I ate for dinner at night, because that affects my sleep. I'd focus on turning the lights down at 7 p.m. My phone gets put into do not disturb at 7 p.m. I'm transitioning into TV shows and books that are fun, that are nighttime, evening activity TV shows and books. And that's what I would immediately do. And then in terms of what would help you create more time, more flow, and more ease in your life, what systems do you need in place? What do you need help? Do you need an assistant, or do you need a program that supports your business in a way that you can do things automatically, like it's automated? What do you need? What would help you create more time, more flow, and more ease? A system, a boundary, a help, just consciousness. Just think about that for a little bit. And then the next thing is, what would protect you to feel connected and on purpose? What would protect you to feel fully in your power, fully in your pound. I'm gonna do it again. Oh, okay, let's start over. What would protect you to feel fully in your power and grounded in you? I'd like some examples for the last two questions. Which two questions? The ones I just posted about protecting you to feel connected and on purpose, or running your life and the work you do? Put those in and I will answer them. There's always a lag a little bit, so I'll wait for you. The ones I'm reading right now. Okay, awesome. What would protect you to feel connected and on purpose? And what would protect you to feel fully in your power and grounded in you? So, what systems, what rituals, what things do you need in your life? What boundaries do you need in your life to feel connected and on purpose? So when you're feeling connected and on purpose, you're feeling like, for me, when I feel connected and on purpose, I feel like I'm in my flow. I feel like I'm connected to what I'm doing. I feel like I'm grounded. I'm feeling like really, really good. I'm feeling inspired. The things that protect me in feeling grounded, feeling on purpose, feeling on fire, feeling all of those things, is that I need daily rituals 3 times a day in order to connect back into myself. So I have a morning ritual routine, I have a midday ritual routine, and I have an evening ritual routine, which I'll get into in just a minute. I also need to connect in with my breath often. I need to connect in with the work that I'm doing in terms of making sure that I don't burn out with the work that I'm doing. So boundaries and policies around that. And I get into these a little bit more in the next section. But there are things that I know that I need to feel connected and on purpose. So what would protect you to feel connected on purpose and on purpose? Is it your sleep, or is it doing the energy expanding things? Is it connecting into your being? Is it making sure that you're feeling inspired and feeling on fire? And then what would protect you to feel fully in your power and grounded in you? It's kind of the same thing for me. There's a bit about working on my self-worth and working on my confidence in order to connect into my power. So mantras are really great for me for that. There's, the boundaries around my time, boundaries around how people can access me, boundaries around boundaries within my family in order to protect my time. So the 3 daily rituals that work for me is in the morning when I get up, I'm at my most inspired. And so that's when I do a lot of my writing or social media posts or other, all kinds of the work things. But before I do that, I do some kind of journaling. I've been really into oracle cards. I do some mantra work that really connects me back into me. And that's been amazing. And then one of the policies that I've set, but I didn't actually put this in the book, but one of the policies that I've set for myself in terms of my work is that I will do those things. I will do the soul connecting work first. I'll do the inspiring work, the work that I do to write, the productivity work, some kind of writing usually. And then I will check my email and my social media. So those things come before the connecting with others. And that has been great. So there's this idea out in the world of content, creating content before you consume content. And I've been really paying attention to that for myself and creating a policy around that. So, and that protects me, that policy protects me in that I'm not waking up, getting on my phone, scrolling first minute, and while still in bed, and allowing all of that energy to come into my world and come into my mind and come into my being before taking care of myself. My midday is usually I usually do something around 2:30, 3 o'clock, and that's usually a 10-minute meditation of some kind, or breath work or hypnosis. Those are a little bit longer. Maybe some tapping if I feel like doing some tapping. I've been getting into that a lot lately. And then the evening ritual is all about shutting down. So if I have time, take a bath, get into some nice, yummy PJs, and maybe doing a little bit more journaling, connecting in with the mantras and the things like that. So let me know if I answered your question, Sarah, please. It is so key. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes. But please let me know if I covered it, and that I answered what you were looking for. And then we will move on to the next section. We're doing good. We're doing good on time. We're doing good on all this. This is so fun. I love this stuff. I'm going to post the next questions. There is a little bit of a lag in seeing the comments. I got it. Good. Okay, good. So the next questions are around sort of your life. Oh, it's your life. Okay, so what relationships in your life feel like they could use more boundaries? Maybe boundaries around conversations, boundaries around time or expectations. It could be a boss, it could be a partner, it could be friends, it could be family members, it could be extended family members. So what relationships in your life feel like they could use more boundaries? And it's not necessarily bad. Like I've been really working on with my husband, I'll have my computer out and I'll be working on something and he'll start talking. And my kids do the same thing. And then I'll get distracted, or I'll be doing two things. I'll be doing the work and then trying to listen, and I cannot multitask that way. And so what happens is either I continue to do the work and I have a typo or an unfinished sentence has happened before. Or I'm not really listening to what he's saying or what they're saying. So the boundary is like, if I'm on my computer, it's clear I'm doing something, and I'll say I'll say out loud, hey, give me just a second, let me finish this thought, and then I will give you my time and attention fully, and then it's respectful to them too, because they want you to be listening to them. They're not talking just to talk. So that's been a really big one for me. In terms of boundaries around conversations is, what kind of conversations am I open to with particular people that I know? I mean, there is a piece about having conversations to expand your mind, and I'm all about those. But if the conversations are just going to turn into these horrible hot messes, then I'm not available for that. I'm not available for toxic conversations. So that's a boundary. That doesn't come up very often in my life. In terms of time, the time that I spend working, the time that is expected of me. I guess this could be one for me, could be with clients. If clients expected more time, none of mine do. All my clients are really respectful of my time. But if there was somebody who was having a difficult time with my time, then that would be a boundary. So what relationships in your life feel like they could use more boundaries? I'm trying to think of a good work one. Like if people call you after hours, or if you like, I'm done working at 5, and then your boss calls you at 7 normally, then that could be a boundary that you need to address. Or if you had like coworkers who like to gossip a lot and you're not interested in gossiping, then what would be, just write out what those relationships are. We'll get into the actual policies in a bit. And then the next question is, where in your work do you know you could use a limit or boundary to support you? Where do you already know you could use some sort of boundary or limit? So whether that's with your time, with the conversations that you have, with how people access you. Something that I started doing with my clients, which I loved, is I've been using Voxer completely for communications and occasionally email. But what I love about that is that it's in one spot. It's not all over the place. It's not in my, I've had like clients who emailed me, and then I've had clients who typically text and things like that. It's nice to have it all in one place for me, because I know that's where it's at, and I know that's where the conversation is. Sarah, I need to talk to my partner about couple time versus work time, since we're both working from home, creating the sacred space, sacred time, since we're always together now. Yes. That is super important, and being very clear with your words about what that looks like and what that feels like. The clearer you can be, the better with each other, and I've had to do that too with my partner, and now my kids. And a lot of times what will happen is I'll be listening to something, I listen to a lot of trainings, and I'm always learning, and so I'll have specific time for that. I'll put my little headphones in, and then they'll be just talking, and I'll say, hey, listen, I'm in the middle of something. I will come back to you in just a minute. And so the couple time and the work time is really important, and thinking about how your day will look like and feel like, and what your expectations are around that will be really powerful. So, and then the next question is, what do you need less of to support your health and wellness? What do you need less of to support your health and wellness? I like that question because I often need less of something to support my health and wellness. Less sugar, less gluten, less dairy, less wine, less alcohol. I usually could use less of something to support my health and wellness. Because then the other side of that is that I feel better, I feel more on fire. And then the next question is, what do you need more of? For me, I need to sweat more. I'd like to incorporate more strength training in my working out. I like to do more cardio too. And then the next question is, where in your life do you need more support? So ideas are, do you need more team support? Do you need childcare if you have a kid? Do you need some sort of online productivity support in terms of systems? Do you need a systems thing in your business that helps you stay on top of it? What are those things called? They start with a C. You need less of your inner critic. Yes, that's a great one for your health and wellness. Fabulous. Less inner critic. I love it. When you're thinking of productivity too, those online things, like I have Dubsado. So Dubsado is great because it's a one-stop shop. People can set up their appointments with me. They can CRM. Yes, CRMs. Thank you. Dubsado is my CRM. So, and then I can have people sign contracts through that. I was having my podcast go through that. That was great because it was all one-stop shop. So let me know if there's anything else that pops up for you, and then we'll move on to the last little bit of things that I think are important to consider when we're creating boundaries, and then we'll move on to the actual boundaries and personal policies. So the first question is and these are deep, so we'll go into all of these very deeply. So what best fuels your energy? I'm going to read through them and then we'll go through each one. So what best fuels your energy? What's your baseline needs for your energy? This is such a great question. What do you need to operate well in your life? What depletes your energy? What takes up your time the most? When are you the most energetic or productive? So let's dive into the first one. What best fuels your energy? Some of that could be, thinking about your Myers-Briggs, if you know what that is, or if you're an introvert or an extrovert, or what are the other energy things? There's like lots of different energy personality tests out there. So, but then also think about it in terms of food, health and wellness, conversations, sleep, doing work that feels like it's on purpose, connecting in with your soul, those sorts of things. What best fuels your energy? For me, what fuels my energy is eating healthy, not even healthy, eating super clean. I'm finding if I eat something that doesn't agree with me, I either have immense body pain, like The other day I realized feta gives me an upper backache, which is crazy. Because that's not where you should feel food pain, but it's like in my shoulders. So feta had to go for a bit. I'm not supposed to be eating cheese anyway. But I realized that if I eat something that doesn't agree with me, I'm so tired in the middle of the day. I'm just like, I need a nap. And I felt that for so long, for a decade before I did anything about it because I didn't know. I thought that was normal. So, what best fuels my energy and keeps me at a steady pace is paying attention to what I'm putting in my body. I love coffee and I drink coffee, but drinking too much affects me. It can affect people in negative ways, sometimes positive. Other things that fuel my energy is really paying attention to how I get my sleep and making sure that I get really deep sleep. And then conversations with the people I love fuel my energy. Watching fun shows fuels my energy. Reading fun books, doing work that feels really good. All of that fuels my energy. Baseline needs for your energy. So these are your standard minimums, the standard minimum stuff that you need in order to stay at a high vibe, energetic, flowing state. So I was talking today in this live stream, and it was all about your soul management. And I was explaining how my baseline used to be down here. And now my baseline is like way up here. And the great thing about that is that that's just my baseline. That's where it's at. It's no longer here. It's up here. And why that's important is that the requirements for me to do the work that I want to do, to show up in the energy that I want to show up, day in and day out without burning out, my baseline need might seem a little much to some people, but it's not. That's just my baseline need. And I'm not being a prima donna. I'm not being obnoxious. That's just my baseline need. So I need 8.5 hours of sleep. I need to eat really healthy whole foods. I need to not go to McDonald's. Somebody gave me a hard time because I didn't go to McDonald's, and I was like, just kills it. I mean, I used to love McDonald's. I just can't eat there anymore, because it just doesn't sit well in my system. My baseline needs are at a place where I can maintain my energy all of the time without burning out. And it feels so good. It feels so good that I know what that is. So what's yours? And then the next question is, what do you need to operate well in your life? What do you need? What are those requirements? What do you need to exist? And it's not about being demanding or too much or asking for too much. It's just like, this is what I need. I've decided that I need to go to the hair salon once a month to get my roots done. I need it. That makes me feel good. Now, that we're in the middle of COVID-19 and that I might not be able to do that come soon if they close everything down again, that's all right. I get that. But on a regular basis, that's a sole requirement. That's a need. I'm not being too much about that. So think about what that might be for yours, and then think about and then thinking about what you need to operate well in your life. Do you need team members? Do you need more support? Do you need more love? What do you need? And then what takes up your time? Like the social media example I had no idea how much time I spent on social media. Let me tell you, I can tell you right now, this is so cool. On your iPhone, you can look and it will tell you Usually it'll tell you how much time, screen time. I've spent 3 hours and 44 minutes on my social media. Now, some of that was on Facebook during a Facebook Live, and some of that is now for an hour. So some of that is, that's not so bad. But it used to be that was the standard, was 4 hours, you know? So that depletes my energy, the scrolling. Having conversations that I just don't really want to have that I'm just done with. Those deplete my energy, you know. Other things, there's lots of things that deplete my energy that I just decided that are not, I don't do anymore, you know. Conversations with people, you know, if they were just kind of underlyingly toxic, I was just done with that. Yeah. Okay. Are we on to time? What takes up your time the most? Social media, people, work. They all kind of flow, don't they? The depleting energy and the taking of your time. And then when are you the most energetic or productive? I was saying earlier, my most productive time is the first thing when I wake up. And then I'm usually productive mid-morning. Those are my really productive times. Evening, not so much. I'm productive like right now, but I did all this earlier. So I'm just, you know, I knew what I was going to be talking about. Okay. Now waiting too long between meals and you get hangry. Yes. Yes. Oh, have a snack in your purse at all times. I had to start doing that. And then setting a schedule. Like I eat at this time, I eat at this time, I eat at this time. Because waiting too long, oh my gosh, that hangry feeling is miserable. So with everything that we've talked about so far, what are the boundaries you know you are just required immediately? What are they? Type some in the comment box, and then we'll move on to our boundaries and policies examples. And I have a lot of examples to share with you, and we can expand on them even more. So what do you know is just required now, already, immediately? This is so fun. I love this. Okay, I'm gonna post this in, and I'm gonna wait for you to make sure. I like that hangry one. I need to set up a time to plan for the week and to set open hours for my business. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Do you have a great calendar, Sarah? Let me show you. And these are, I think you said you did. I just got the simplified planner. I like the academic planners, but what I like about this particular one, this is coming to, it starts in August. But I like that it has like the calendar here. And then what I like about this particular one is the day. It's all of the days are, so you've got your hours from 6 to 9 p.m., your to-dos, and then your notes for each day. And I like that a lot. I had to have a paper one, and that's really helpful for me. But I really love that idea of setting time in your week to set open hours for your business and being able to structure that. Okay. So, so your policies are your overarching rules to guide your boundaries. So now that we know what you know from answering the boundaries questions, what are your new policies and the boundaries to support your policies for each of the following categories? So let's start with health and wellness. And in the workbook, you should have a big spot to answer these questions. And then these examples are down at the end, but they're just for you for later, these examples that I'm posting in the comments. So for health and wellness, policies could include, I treat my body with the utmost love and care. I make educated decisions when it comes to my body. I choose options that fuel and nurture my body. I focus on good sleep. I move my body. I sweat daily. I'm unavailable to feel like shit. And then the boundaries are to support the policies. The boundaries to support the policies are I choose foods that are whole and nurturing even when I'm out and about. I invest in good doctors, wellness providers, and coaches who give me their opinions and guide me in health. I shut down lights and put my phone away an hour before bed. I actually put my phone away more earlier than that, but I create time in my schedule to exercise and treat it like an important meeting. I disengage with any behaviors that are causing me to feel low vibe or bad. I don't know why the type kind of came out funny. So disengaging with behaviors that are causing me to feel low vibe or bad. I've been talking a lot in the world about my relationship with alcohol, and I love a nice glass of wine. I love 2 glasses of wine and sometimes 3 glasses of wine. And what happens is that causes me to feel low vibe and not great. So I had to stop drinking because I was taking a medication and I'm still taking it and I feel so much better. And so that really made me realize how yucky I was feeling. So I had to go. Do I have suggestions for how to schedule open hours around a 9 to 5? So, Sarah, do I have suggestions on how to schedule open hours around a 9 to 5? So you have a 9 to 5, right? And then are you wondering, so I know that you particularly have a 9 to 5 business. You have work that you go to, that you work for a different company, and then you have a side hustle, side business, even though it might not in hours be a side hustle. You do things that you're doing. So is the question that you're asking having open hours? Can you expand on that question just a little bit more? Can you tell me the open hours for your personal business connected to around the 9 to 5? Clarify for me just a little bit. And I will answer that. And going back to health and wellness, when you're thinking about the policies that you have, that you put into place, it's all about you and what works for you in terms of your vibe and what makes you feel good. And these are just some of the ones that I thought of when I was writing these out. Some of them are really important to me too. Wait for your answer there. I think my confusion is around the open hours part. Like, is that to support your secondary business while also working your full-time business? Ta-da. Okay. Well, we're waiting for you for that to fly in at whatever point that Facebook decides for me to see it. We're going to talk a little bit about self-care and self-care. Okay, here we go. Yay, I knew the minute I started talking about it, I know this would be what happened. Setting boundaries around when I'm working the side hustle, either behind the scenes or connecting with clients. What is the best strategy? Like before and after 9 to 5, certain days? Well, it just depends on what works for your primary job. I mean, if your primary job is Monday 9 to 5, and in that primary job, if you're expected to be working from 9 to 5 in that primary job, like that's the expectation. You don't really have any wiggle room. It's not task oriented. Then I would say yes. The behind the scenes probably should happen before the 9 a.m. and the client connections probably after the 5 p.m. So you could set an hour from 8 to 9 to do your free work, and then 5 to 6 p.m. for your after hours work. You could also say that you only do your side business on the weekends. You could, what's worked for me in the past in terms of juggling life and all of the things was that I got up super early. I got up at 5 and worked from 5 to 7 every day, but I knew that I was going to be super productive in those hours. And so I would wake up and get all the work done. But it was really hard to get up at 5. And I don't do that now. So if your primary job allows for you to do some of your side hustle during the day, then it could be maybe during your lunch hour you can work on your side hustle. But I think for you, I mean, the expectation probably from the people who require you during those 9 to 5 work hours from your primary job, if they called you and you were talking to a client in the middle of the day, you'd feel kind of overwhelmed and stressed, right? Like it would just be like, oh my gosh, I need to answer this email for my boss, or I need to answer this phone call for somebody. And so that would be a lot to juggle. So I think I would recommend having your client, particularly your client hours after your regular work hours, or maybe you say Saturday mornings are your client hours. And you just do that from 9 to noon on Saturdays as you have time to meet individually with clients. Or Wednesday evenings and Saturday mornings, or a couple evenings a week too. You could say Monday and Wednesdays are my client hours. And then if you have time during your day, then you could do kind of the behind the scenes stuff like writing social media posts, or doing whatever other paperwork that you have to do for it. If your primary job allows you to do that, and that's cool with it flows with the primary job. Or if that doesn't flow, then I would recommend setting those hours. And if you need to get it done during the week and you don't want to be spending all evening, every evening working on your side hustle, then give yourself time in the morning to do it. But make it work for you. Make the time work for you and set your hours. I mean, how many hours a week do you want to work on your side hustle? Answer that question for yourself. And then set those hours. And then if it becomes too much, then you can decide how that works for you. Let me know if I answered your question, or if you want me to expand more on that. So self-care policies. Dun, 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 dun. I want to see if you right back. Okay, good. Good, good. So self-care policies. Some of the ones that I thought of is I make time for myself daily and weekly. I prioritize my self-care. My self-care keeps me running on all cylinders and I don't sacrifice it. I invest in my self-care. Ooh, that's a good one. I follow my intuition when it comes to my self-care. I start each day with new energy. The boundaries to support those policies. I create time in my daily routine to focus on myself and my soul daily. The next one is I keep all of my self-care tools organized and ready to go. And in terms of investing in my self-care, I buy things that I like, and they usually cost a lot of money. They usually are not the cheap stuff. Whether it comes to tea or it comes to makeup or whatever, hair products, whatever it is, I invest in my self-care because it's important to me. I inform others that my self-care is a priority. I let the whole world know that my self-care comes first. The boys, my husband, my parents, everybody knows that the self-care is happening before anything else. I listen to my body, mind, and spirit when it comes to what I need at any given moment. So I really connect into my soul a lot, so that I'm following my intuition, that I'm listening to it. And I make my bed daily. That's a boundary. That's a policy, really, is that the bed gets made daily. And that really makes a difference for my life. So think about what your self-care policies and boundaries are. And then the next section is on relationships. This one's a little bit more deeper than self-care. I mean, I think self-care is just something that my video is not working. I hope it's okay. Okay. The video is looking a little laggy. I hope it's going okay. All right, so relationships, policies. I honor myself in relationships. I engage in high vibe, inspiring relationships. I honor my boundaries with my time and energy in relationships. I'm not available for toxic relationships. Those are my policies around relationships and ones that are really great. And then boundaries, I set boundaries around when I speak with people on the phone and by text. So time boundaries. I speak my truth in conversations with grace and confidence. I do not engage in toxic conversations. It's just a boundary. I don't do it. I'm not going to go there with people. Unavailable on social media, unavailable in person, not having toxic conversations with them. I do not engage in judgmental conversations. It's not something I'm available for. I used to be. I used to gossip, like the best of them. I was a great gossip. But I realized that it was really low vibe, and it really brought my vibe down, and it made me feel crappy. And so I didn't do that anymore. If needed, I let go of relationships that don't serve me. That's super hard. But it's super important too, letting go of those relationships that just no longer, we are growing and changing all of the time. And sometimes relationships, they just have to go. I honor myself in all relationships by listening to my intuition. So my intuition is a really key player in all of my relationships. Let me know if you would like me to expand on any of those, because the relationships are hard and they're a lot, and it's, whew, man alive. And then we'll do work, and then we will do soul, self, and life, and then that will be creating our boundaries and personal leadership policies, because you are a leader, and when we're talking about your leadership, we're talking about you as a whole entire being. Isn't that so cool? Okay, I'm gonna post this and I'll see if you pop anything into the comments. It is a little laggy. Okay, so policies around work, things that you do in your life. So one of them is I am unavailable to convince anyone of my worth. I honor my time and energy in my work life. I set reasonable work hours and know that I will be supported. I hire the best people when the timing is right. I set standards in my work that honor my gifts and the work that I do. I am unavailable for the energy of social media to dictate my life. I combine flow and slay in my work, and everything feels good from there. And then boundaries. I set limits on when people can access my time and energy away from work. I organize my time with my energy and soul work accounted for. I'm unavailable to work in the evenings. I'm unavailable to work on the weekends. When I'm away from work, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I set boundaries on my time on social media. I set policies in my work and uphold them as the leader of my life and work. So, let's dive into some of those. So honoring your time and your energy in your work life is really powerful, because likely there are people that you work with, and likely those people need guidance and they need your time and they need your energy. And so what does that look like, and what does that feel like for you? I like the policy of I'm unavailable to convince anyone of my worth. And I feel like for me, that's really positive, because for a few reasons. One is because I'm fabulous. I don't have to convince anyone of that. I just know, but I'm also not here to hustle. I'm not here to just do a tap dance and prove myself. And that's really a great policy to have. And that feels so good. When I set that policy, I was just like, yeah, thank goodness. I mean, I don't have to jump through the hoops, and I don't have to play the games, because I don't have to convince anyone of how fabulous I am. I already know. And the people who I want to know already know. So that's good. And my ideal clients, they already know. They have the people that I work with and that I love, they already know I'm fabulous. They know my worth. I don't have to convince them of that. And that feels so good, because it just is it's just set. It's just done. I set reasonable work hours and know that I will be supported. That's a hard one when you work from home, because it's hard to set reasonable work hours when you're working from your house. You know, it's hard to set those, like, okay, I'm working from 9 to 5. Like, I'm going to be at work from 9 to 5. And setting that time is really challenging. For me, I could probably work all of the time. And sometimes I do. I'm really one of those people that is really creative. And sometimes I'm creative on a Saturday night. And so that's when I'm going to work. I've realized, though, that if that's the way that the game that I play, and if I work Saturday night because that's what I'm going to do, then I have to honor my time and my energy in some other way to make sure that I don't burn out. Because if I work Saturday night and then I'm like doing a ton of things Monday through Friday, that gets in the way. I end up burning out. So setting reasonable work hours, setting reasonable work expectations, those are really important. I hire the best people when the timing is right. So there's a lot of fear around hiring people because maybe they won't do a good job. Maybe they won't do it right, So it's all about, that's just the standard policy is I hire the best people when the timing is right. I set standards in my work that honor my gifts and the work that I do. So that's all about just the standards of my business. The standards are that I honor my gifts and the work that I do. One of the things that I don't do is I stopped bartering my services. I stopped trading my services because at one point that felt fine, but then all of a sudden I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. And so I don't barter my services. It's just a policy. I don't discount my prices unless I've decided to. I'm not discounting my prices for people who ask me to. Let's see. And then the boundaries, I set limits on when people can access my time and energy away from work. That's really great. So having a place where people can communicate with me has been really fabulous. And one place. I let people know when I'm available and when I'm not going to be available. I let them know that they might hear from me on the weekends, but maybe not. So I set the limits, I set the standards, I let people know, I communicate it, and then that's it. I organize my time with my energy and soul work accounted for. So I make sure that I have time to get my morning work, my morning daily connections done, the morning soul work that I do. I make time for my afternoon meditation, somewhere between 10 to 30 minutes, and then my evening rituals. And oh my gosh, that has changed my life. And I just said that. I'm unavailable to work in the evenings unless I've decided that I'm working in the evenings. Like tonight I'm working in the evening. I decided to. So it's something that I get to decide. But if somebody asked me to work in the evening, I'd say no. Same thing for the weekend. If I say, hey, I'm available on Saturday, I'd love to meet with you, then that's one thing. But as a standard practice, I say I'm not available on the weekends, and then I get to decide if I want to break that rule or not. And that's really powerful because it used to be that any time was open. Weekends, evenings, all of it was just kind of like whatever worked for everyone else. But then I realized that if I didn't pay attention to my time, that I would burn out. So, but if I say, hey, I'm free Wednesday evenings and I'm open to meeting with you on Wednesday evenings, then that's good. Like this last coaching series that I did, I said to people, I'm offering one evening session and one weekend session, and the rest are during the weeks. And if you get the evening session first, great for you. And if you get the Saturday session first, great for you. But that's it. And it worked really, really well. We've talked a lot about social media and time, but I do set my boundaries around social media and time and scrolling. And it's already shut off. So all of my apps are shut down at 7 p.m. And then if I want to go in and access them, I can. I just have to hit ignore. And I'll usually hit ignore for 15 minutes, but I'm consciously hitting that. And that makes a world of difference for me because I'm consciously accessing that app. I'm not just mindlessly scrolling because our phones and the apps are designed to be addictive. And so I've been really paying attention to that a lot. And then setting policies in my work and upholding them as the leader of my life and my work. That's just been, I'm just constantly thinking of policies that are going to work for me. Sarah, I am unavailable for the energy of social media to dictate my life. Yes, because you could ride that wave, man. Oh, super not cool. It's just so depleting, you know? It just is so depleting, and you don't realize it because you're reading and you're reading the stuff and you're taking it in on a it's not a verbal level, right? So there's something that happens that you take in that energy without being conscious of it, and it can really suck. And so I started unfollowing people if they were like nasty or saying things that were just, I mean, I'm all about expanding my mind, learning new things. I'm totally about that. But if somebody was being obnoxious on social media, I was like, okay, bye-bye. I'll find that information somewhere else. Love that one so much. I worry that I'm not posting enough, not keeping up with the influencers, etc. There's no right or wrong with social media, really. I mean, people will say consistency is key, but your energy is key too. And there's a curve to it. There really is. I mean, there really is a curve, and feeling comfortable with it and putting yourself out there, and the confidence and the worthiness that happens with putting yourself out in the world of social media. We could do a whole training on that, man. I mean, gosh, and we will. We will do a whole training on that because it's just so much. And that has gotten in the way of my business a lot, is just the worrying about what everyone else is thinking, the keeping up with the influencers, the keeping up with the numbers, like how many people are following me, how many people are unfollowing me, or did somebody follow me and unfollow me that I started following, and isn't that bad business, and blah, 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 and oh, it just gets to be a headache, and then you just don't want to do it at all. So, yes. The social media. Okay, these are my favorite. These are the last ones. And then we'll have a little time for anything else we want to wrap up. And I've been loving this so much. So now we're going to dive into soul, self, and life. So policies for soul, self, and life. These are just kind of like the hodgepodge things that happen. So I commit to daily morning, midday, and evening rituals to ground back to my soul. I always follow my soul, and I put my soul desires into action quickly and without hesitation. That is one I took from my money mentor because I felt like it was really powerful. That whole concept of having a soul desire and an intention and then actioning it right away instead of hesitating on it, because when we hesitate, then we kind of think, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. That one is really powerful. This one is so powerful. My time and energy are currency. Your time and energy are money. I got that from a book called Beautiful Money by Leanne Jacobs. And it was so expanding for me, this concept that my time and my energy is costing money, and it is currency. And so any energetic conversation that I have with someone is currency. Anytime I'm spending with someone is currency. It costs money. It's money. I don't know if you can hear the banging. Something really cool to think about. It blew my mind when I started thinking about, like, that conversation with your girlfriend is currency. I declutter my life regularly. That's actually one I need to work on. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's going to be some little boys in trouble in just a minute. So I declutter my life regularly. How are you not done? It's 7:22. It's going till 8. So everybody that's on this live stream can hear you upstairs. So see you later. Sorry. See you in a minute. Sorry about that. So the decluttering my life regularly is all about just getting rid of stuff that's got energy and that's taking energy from you. Okay, so the boundaries around that. I set boundaries with my time so that I can easily ground back into myself daily and multiple times a day. I shield myself from comparisonitis and FOMO by creating boundaries with social media and with relationships. That's a big one. I unfollow and unsubscribe with ease. I set limits with myself so that I honor my soul at all times. I throw away, donate, and give away items that no longer serve me. I clean out my inbox, computer files, and internet tabs weekly. I organize my desk every day. So all of those are really powerful because kind of like the making your bed every day kind of thing. It just sets you up for feeling good. Sets you up for feeling good at night, but sets you up for feeling good the next day. The unfollowing and unsubscribing with ease is huge. It takes a lot. And I set limits with myself so that I honor my soul at all times. Oh, yeah. So those are really powerful boundaries in terms of soul and life and self. So if you have any questions, thoughts, concerns, or issues, something that you'd like more help with creating boundaries around, pop them into the comment box. Before we go, I want to make sure that we answer all of your questions, thoughts, concerns. You'll have this video for forever. This group will be open for 2 weeks. So if you would like to pop in any thoughts that you have in a couple of days and you're like, hey, I'd like more support around this, pop it in. We'll have a conversation through the comment boxes, comment boxes. And we'll really work through it because I want to make sure that when you walk away from this masterclass, that you walk away feeling really empowered and you walk away feeling like, I've got this. I've got these boundaries. I've got my bubble figured out. I've got these boundaries figured out. I know what I want to do on a daily basis in terms of living my life, and it feels really, really good. So please use that space and that time. And then this video will be uploaded into a secret YouTube portal. And I'll be emailing it to you, and I'll be emailing the workbook to you again so that you have it. Just don't delete that email. And that will be amazing. I really love this. I'm so glad we did this. Look at the workbook, make sure I didn't forget anything before we go. I'm not seeing anything that I missed. That's good. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you for being here live. I appreciate it. And thank you, everyone who watches the replay. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. We did it in an hour and a half. I'm proud of us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's talk more. Have a gorgeous night. I am sending my heart and my love to you, and we'll talk soon. Bye.